Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to talk about how you can take those unfinished wooden crates that you're really seeing at stores all over the place. These here are wooden crates that they have now featured on an end aisle at Walmart. But how you take those and how you turn them into crates that have that weathered look, that worn look, that will just fit more into either your decor or a project that you're working on. And the approach I took cost me under $2, and it was super simple and very quick. Okay, so the main item obviously is the crate that I got at Walmart, but I also have these acrylic paints here, and I've got a black and a white that I mixed together to make a gray. Then I've got a couple of different brown options. I only ended up using one of those. I've got my paintbrush. I've got a bowl that I can mix that paint and water with to get the paint onto the crates. And that's really it. So the first thing I'm going to do is pour some of that black acrylic paint into my bowl. And once I get that in there, I'm going to put just a little bit of white and I'm going to mix that together with my paintbrush. This is making kind of a light gray. You can decide if you want it to be even lighter. You can add a little bit more white. I actually wanted mine to be a little bit darker. So you just take that brush and mix that up really well, because the next thing you're going to do then is you're going to add some water. And we're going to, brush this mixture onto the crate, but we're immediately going to turn around and start to wipe it off. So we want it to be really thin, and you can see that as I start to paint here, how it even starts dripping, right? It should be just really, I think wet is the best way for me to describe it. And so you're not trying to get a thick coat, because again, you're going to be wiping that right off after you get that first single coat on. So you just want to get that covering maybe one or two sides. I wouldn't do more than that before you take that next step, which is to start to wipe it off. Because if you do all the sides, it's actually starting to dry. And I mean, if you want it to maintain that darker look, you might want to wait longer to let it dry. But really, the sooner you get your cloth and start wiping that off, the more likely you're going to have those really light coats. Like you can see as I'm wiping this off, you can see all the wood grain through it. One thing I do want to point out, you can see in between the crates, you can still see that natural wood. For what I'm using these for, that's okay. But if you are going to have these where that's going to be more exposed, you want to get your brush and go in between them so that you're also getting that, that paint mixture, in between each of the wooden slots. Now, some of you might be panicking a little because I know it's looking very black, but believe me, when we get finished, it will be more of that weathered brown. And so for now, we're just getting this black coat on, and again, we're wiping it up, when we're done, and this is just kind of giving this background darker color. You're going to be amazed when we come back on the second coat, and that's all I have here are two coats, but when we come back with a second coat and we brush the brown on top, it gives it an entirely different look. So here's my three crates. I put one coat on each of these crates of that black, white, and water paint mixture. So just brushed it on quickly and then wiped it off. And now I need to let it dry, because after it dries, it's time then to put on some brown. As you're watching the video today, if there's anything that you find helpful as you're working on your project, I'd really appreciate it if you just take a second and tap the like button. So I'm going to do the same thing with the brown that I did with the black and the white, and that is just pour some of this brown paint into a bowl so that I can then add water. And again, it's very watery, so don't be afraid. I mean, I don't have an exact ratio. I didn't measure my water, but I would say probably like a 5-to-1 or 6 or 7-to-1 ratio of water. I don't think you can put too much water, because again, you're just trying to get that coloring kind of spread across the wood. So get that paint together with the water, stir it up really good, and then we'll be ready to start getting that paint onto these wooden fixtures and just brushing it right on top of the crates that we've already painted. So I want you just to pay close attention as this brown goes over what it does to the look of this crate. It's just filling in not only where it felt really light before, but it's even turning where it was really dark before. It's really changing the color of that wood to have kind of that brown look to it. Now we're going to do exactly here what we did before, and that is once we get that coat of paint on the side, we're going to go ahead and wipe it down. Now on this one, just because I want you to really see the difference in color, I'm just going to get paint on 2 of these slats, and then I'm going to go ahead and wipe it off. It's really hard to tell what it looks like at all until you wipe it off. And so then I'm going to come in and I'm going to wipe it off because I just want you to kind of see the difference in how one of them is looking very gray, the 2 slots on the right of the section. Here on the left here, this is the brown. Then over on the right here, this is the black and white, the gray. So you can see a real difference in color just from that quick coat of brown paint. So you can just see as we finish this side, how really that entire side just changes to become kind of a brown feeling. And so I just continue to work through these crates. I'm just going to get that brown paint on top of everything just to change that tone. Now, of course, a lot of people like that gray wooden weathered look. And so if that's what you're going for, you can really just skip that second step and you can just stick with your gray. This is one last example just shown side by side on the difference. Here on the right, I've got the gray, and on the left, I've got the brushed on brown, and you can just see how the colors really changed. Okay, so here's my finished crates. You might notice on the bottom left, it's a little bit darker of a crate. When I did that one, I had thicker paint and I put on thicker coats. And remember, I did 2 sides before I even did a wipe off. So if you want to keep that color light, you probably want to wipe the paint every time you get one side done. And then you just want to make sure you really got that paint watered down. And that's really it. It's just taking these unfinished wooden crates that you're seeing all over the place and making this acrylic paint and water mixture, brushing on, wiping off, and you really end up with this great old look, this weathered look. I hope you found the video today to be helpful. If there was something in this video that helped you think through the project that you have coming up, please take just a second and do me a favor and press that like button. And again, if you like to do DIY projects or you do any DIY party planning, go ahead and hit subscribe too, because that way you'll get notified whenever I post a new video. Thank you so much for watching the video today, and good luck on your project.